Welcome into the Echo Sportscast number 66.
I'm Jackson Boal.
And I'm Ben Sargent. Chippewa and Algonquin met on the ice Wednesday night as the Ravens gave the Barons a fight as they looked to get their first win of the season. We also caught up with Ravens goalie Evan Chemery between the second and third periods.
The final games of the first half of the boys basketball and girls volleyball seasons wrapped up this week. Heading into Christmas break, we have highlights from a few of the games and a look at the standings and where teams sit heading into 2026.
And speaking of Christmas, with this being our final true sportscast before the break, we have a small teaser of our Boxing Day episode featuring the one and only Bob Boal.
All of that on the way and more, but first a word from our title sponsor, North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation.
We often talk about the rhythm of life in North Bay. For Amanda, that rhythm was fast. Hockey practices, baseball games, juggling a full-time career, and keeping up with two energetic boys. But life hit pause after routine surgery led to a call she never expected. Stage 2 breast cancer. No symptoms, no warning. Suddenly, Amanda was facing a double mastectomy, reconstruction, weeks of chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and several additional surgeries. The path ahead was overwhelming. Through every stage, one question stayed with her. How do I keep being mom for my boys? Amanda's care team at the North Bay Regional Health Center made all the difference. They understood how deeply she wanted to hold on to familiar routines, cheering from the stands, being there at bedtime, staying present in the moments that gave her strength. Their compassion kept her connected to the two people who kept her fighting. She stayed present. She stayed grounded. She stayed mom. This holiday season, help ensure patients have access to the exceptional care they need during life's most challenging moments. Your gift helps patients like Amanda stay connected to the people they love while strengthening healthcare for families across our region. Visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give.
Chippewa and Algonquin squared off on the ice for only the second time in the NDA this season, and it was a tight game. The first period saw momentum shift both ways. Algonquin opened the scoring, but the Ravens drew even. However, the Barons did come out of the opening period with a 2-1 lead. The second was all Ravens, as there was some penalty trouble for Algonquin, which led to a power play goal from Chippewa to tie things at 2, but the Barons end up striking back with 3 seconds left to end the period up 3-2. And after that period, we caught up with Ravens goaltender Evan Chemery.
I'm here with Evan Chemery, who's the goaltender here for the Chippewa Ravens. Evan, you've gone through 2 periods, the best 2 periods you guys have played all year long. How has it been out there so far?
I would say by far this is our best 2 periods of the season. Like, we had that game against St. Ben's where it finished 5-2. This has still been much better than that. I think we're actually playing as a team. We're setting up the box on defense. I think both teams need to stay out of the box, stop taking stupid penalties.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Algonquin did get one back with about 3 seconds left, but you've been kind of standing on your head a little bit there. A much better second period, though. How does it feel when your team's keeping the shots off you a little bit? What do you do to keep your head in the game?
Oh, it's a completely different feeling. Most of the games this season have had upwards of 60-ish shots, but we're starting to gel together as a team. It's definitely a developing year. Just looking back at last year's team, we went to NASA. The past couple years we've been really good. Every team's bound to go through these rebuilding years, and I think we're finally starting to click a little bit. Like, I don't think I'm even going to reach the 40-shot mark, maybe, but tough last goal, kind of just squeaked through. They had 3 guys crash the net. We just didn't get there in time.
Yeah, so obviously a tough season for you guys. You're in a rebuild year. What is the goal for this season? Obviously, like, you're not looking like you'd love to win, to beat probably Schollard in the finals, get that gold. But what's the realistic goal that you guys have for this year?
I think our goal, honestly, right now, we're just taking it step by step. I think our next step is going to be a win, and we're tight in this game, 3-2, 15 minutes left in the game. I think we can pull this one out, maybe at least tie. I think once we do that, we're just going to be taking more steps in the right direction. I can't give you an end goal yet, though.
So, Jackson, that's when I left. I was there for the opening 2 periods because we wanted to get that interview, which was fun. It was a fun interview to get. I was happy I stayed. It was a very long day yesterday because I think I got home at 9:30. And then what happened after I left?
I think Chippewa got a little, I don't know if they got complacent or they just let him off the hook. But Algonquin, I wouldn't even say they came out super flying, but they put up 4 goals in 5 minutes, probably. 4 goals in 8 minutes.
So, note to anybody listening, don't let me interview your goalie between the second and third period.
Yeah, I guess not. But the main takeaway from the game should be that Chippewa is starting to compete and starting to look good. And also, you have to give credit that Algonquin's a good hockey team.
Yeah, it was a good. I was impressed with it. It was easily, and I said this in the when I was talking to Evan, was the best 2 periods by far. I mean, even if they played bad in the second period, that first period or vice versa, but to combine those both together, that's why it's kind of disappointing to see them, the rails fall off a little bit, which does happen with a lot of young teams. I see this a lot with the U16 teams in AAA where they play really strong and then they get to the last 15 minutes of the game. I know the periods are a little bit shorter in NDA, but they get near the end and that's where stuff starts falling off and they can't close games out. They don't have the same strength or endurance as some of the other teams can.
Yeah, I would think, I guess, theoretically that it wouldn't happen as much in high school because you get that break between the second and third to reset, get some water, get some further motivation. But Algonquin, as much as we talked about Chippewa was the better team for the first 2, Algonquin was the better team in the third. And
to be fair to Algonquin, I don't think they played their best game. They got into a lot of penalty trouble. Now it's no contact, and we've talked about that. There was a pretty big hit that happened that was clean right in front of your bench, but again, being no contact, it ended up being a penalty, which was funny because I actually missed it because I was following the puck, and then I heard this big slam, and I looked over. I'm like, because there's not a lot of hitting. There's no hitting that happens, so there's not as much kind of neat shots to get, and you don't think about it. But it was pretty chippy too in those first 2 periods. There was a lot of pushing and shoving and a lot of guys getting in other people's faces. So it's good to see that fire from a team. Yeah, I think actually it was the perfect amount of chippiness or grit. Nobody was out there angry or wanting to injure. It was a close competitive hockey game and the kids were standing up for their friends and their teammates, and that's about what you want. There was no nothing scary, just hockey. And it was nice talking to Evan too, not having to talk to him after he's getting blown out. It's like you don't want to talk to a goalie when he's given up 7 or 8 goals or they're down 10-0 or something. So it was kind of the perfect, outside of that last, and I didn't get the last goal either because I was setting up for the interview. So I think I stopped in the last minute. But to see that goal go in at 3 seconds, you're like, they were doing so well. They were playing really well. They gave up the goal. But it was nice to talk to Evan in a good, in a positive environment. And then the third period happened. Which, that reset also works both ways, I think, with Algonquin. They can come back and they can reset themselves. Yeah, I assume they got quite the talking to about discipline in that second and third, or between the second and third. So, and I mean, they're young kids. I see this a lot with the U18s in AAA where I've seen a lot of boneheaded, really dumb penalties. And you just go, why are you doing this? But they're kids. They're 15, 16-year-old kids, and you have to remember that sometimes when you're watching it versus even when you watch the OHL, it's the same thing. They're 17, 18. It's if you remember back when you were 17 or 18, that's only a couple. Yeah. Okay, never mind. When you're older and you think back, it's you make a lot of dumb mistakes, and you'll think that way too in 10 years. It's not a late game, but it's 8 p.m. on a weeknight going into Christmas. Who knows what happened that day for any of those kids. And Algonquin's goalie looked too good. Yeah. Looked good as well. McFadden, which I think I'm assuming his brother is the captain, because I saw 2 McFaddens. I'm not sure, but he's been there for a little while. Yeah, he was there last year, right? Yeah, they had Samuel Pinnell, who was a big track. He was good at North Bay athlete, and then now I think McFadden's the starter, I would say, and he's looked good for a few years. He made a couple of nice saves. I think it was the second period when he was down where I was, which was the opposite side of the entrance. And he made a couple of really nice saves, especially when Chippewa was kind of all over the puck in some of those power plays. One of the cool things that we talked about this, I don't know if this is in the episode. So we recorded with your dad yesterday, which we'll have a teaser in this episode for, which was a great conversation. I don't remember if this is in that conversation, but we talked about Chippewa's goalie situation, which is kind of interesting, where Evan's kind of your only actual goaltender, and your backup is actually one of the Lady Lakers, which is kind of nice. Yeah, or Junior Lakers, I should say. Yeah, she's a fantastic kid. She works hard. She is a talented goalie. I don't know I think she's playing Does she have a name? Or
her name's Courtney.
There you
Courtney
go. Okay.
Bush.
Because we weren't saying people are going to be listening like, who is this person?
Yeah, no, I think she plays U18 single A junior Lakers, so like high level, and she just helps out where she can, and that's awesome. That's sort of what we need.
Yeah, she hasn't seen any game time though,
She started against Algonquin.
Oh, yeah.
When Evan had to miss, and she did her absolute best, and that's all you can ask for.
That's good. I mean, and it's hard to fault some of the goalies with, a young team. You're seeing a lot of shots. Maybe guys are getting in spots where they aren't. But the good news for Ravens fans is that Chippewa, and what I'm excited for is it looks like it's going to be a much more competitive end of the season, which is good.
Getting better every game. I think Evan said that, and
it's true. And this is the first time I think the pieces have come together. So you guys have to be really happy too on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a couple of games coming up. So on Friday night, there's a game. I believe it's Algonquin Scholar. That's happening Friday night at 8:00. And then Saturday, there's also a game that wasn't originally on the schedule that's now on the schedule. And I think that's Algonquin Chippewa again.
Yeah. I'm not sure when or where. That might be the Gardens game with Algonquin Chippewa, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So just keep your eye out, but it is the holidays and we're pretty much wrapped up for the most part, right? Like this was the final week for the NDA. So we did get a little bit of volleyball, a little bit of basketball. So let's jump over to volleyball. So on Monday night, I went to a couple of the games around town. First, I went over to Schollard as the Bears hosted Franco Cite in junior and senior action. I was there for the junior game at 5:00 as the Bears did look very strong. They ended up downing Franco in straight sets in both the juniors and seniors. Then I went over to Chippewa where the senior Ravens hosted Mattawa. And while Mattawa did fight, they had some good runs. Chippewa, who find themselves second in the standings, we'll talk about the standings in a little bit. They ended up winning in straight sets as well. And the other game that was happening that night was Algonquin visiting Northern, where Algonquin also won in straight sets in both juniors and seniors. So it's kind of an interesting volleyball season. Obviously, there were some games that also happened on Tuesday. I believe there was games also. I think the Christmas Classic is happening.
It was canceled, yeah.
Oh, was it? It ended up getting canceled?
Yeah,
okay.
The weather, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay, so no more Christmas Classic, but there were games on Tuesday night as well. We don't have all the scores and everything, but unfortunately, this is the end of the first half of the season, which I think overall it's been a really solid first half of the season for Schollard, who I did go back and on their Instagram page, they have, I believe they said they won last year, and I want to say they won in 23 and 22. I believe. They have it on their Instagram page.
That's probably about right, yeah.
So very strong program. Now, when your dad came in, he did give us these beautiful standing sheets that you can see here. And I don't know how incredibly updated they are because whenever he printed them off, but this gives you a little bit of an idea of where things sit. So in the junior realm, Schollard's perfect, 6-0. They sit on top. Chippewa is just below them. Then it's Algonquin, Franco, West Ferris, Northern. So you can see, obviously, Schollard is kind of the team to beat, obviously, on the junior circuit, which we've seen before. Chippewa's right there. And the same thing in the seniors. Schollard is undefeated. Then it's Chippewa, Franco, West Ferris, Algonquin, Northern, and Mattawa. So, yeah, it looks like the Bears are looking for that girls volleyball and girls basketball in the seniors, and then also looking to take down the girls volleyball. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty dominated, assuming that's what happens, looks like it's going to be a pretty dominated Bears field. Not field, but like NDA. A lot of NDA. How am I saying this? It's almost the holidays. It is going to be all Bears outside of Algonquin's win in junior basketball for the girls' side of sports.
You know
where I'm going with this?
I do, and I'm nervous to make predictions or assumptions after my quarterfinal blunder in the boys' season. But if
which blunder was that again? I don't remember.
When Ferris upset Franco Cite in the senior boys. But
you're not living that one.
I would say that they look really strong. They have beat Chippewa in straight sets, both of them, and so it's going to be tough to beat them. It's going to be tough to knock them off.
Just to put this in, because on these standings, it does have sets wins and set loss. Schollard in 7 games, according to the sheet, have only lost 2 sets. They've won 21. Yeah. That's pretty dominating. Chippewa's only lost 3.
Too scholared.
Too scholared.
Yeah.
But it just shows that there is a bit, and then you get down to Franco, who's at 9. So it does look like Chippewa and Schollard in both juniors and seniors are going to be the two teams that are going to be fighting for it on top in the volleyball world. So Thursday night, last night, I went over to Chippewa to see the Ravens take on the Barons in senior boys basketball, and apparently the game, from my understanding, ended up being postponed, so I made the short trek down High Street to Schollard as the Trojans visited the Bears. The first place Trojans coming in with a perfect record, Schollard 4th, looking for a big Christmas upset, and the Trojans came out firing. They were up 33-18 heading into the final 4 minutes of the first half with some big transition points. Schollard did answer with a couple of threes of their own, but still found themselves down 20 points heading into halftime. The Trojans didn't let up in the second half, and they hold on to their perfect record with an 80-52 win heading into the Christmas break. So just taking a quick look at the standings for basketball, Jackson, kind of an interesting spot. Chippewa is the number 1 in juniors right now. Algonquin's right there. They haven't played as many games. Then it's Northern, West Ferris, Schollard, and Franco. Again, a little outdated, but that's kind of where you see it. So Chippewa is a big point in the scene in the junior game.
Absolutely. A couple of things. The first one is they have a super talented, team and program, but they have one kid in particular, Alex Farquhar, who's playing on a rep team in Toronto, and he's driving back and forth, and he is a part of that junior team. And talking with some other people around the basketball world, they think it looks good for Chippewa's future. The grade 8 team played in the Art Gaber, and they won the consolation bracket, which is very difficult to do for the junior side, but still very difficult to do. And so the future is bright for Chippewa basketball, it seems.
Yeah, and again, West Ferris has always been Chippewa's always had a good program because of the Tim Simpson era, and then Ferris always had a great program because of the Larry Tugas era. It was kind of nice that those happened at the same time.
Yeah,
it was great competition, which was nice to see because you do get these great fights. And we'll have to talk to Isaac because he has some great stories from being on that team. We'll have to bring him on one time and just talk about it because he was part of that Tim Simpson team. And I think we mentioned it a couple of times, but he was kind of funny because he ended up reconnecting with your dad yesterday when he came out, which he never failed history, by the way.
No. But kids fail themselves.
Kids fail themselves. If you want more, check out next week's episode with your dad, which was a great conversation. And it's funny because you don't know the clip that I'm going to put in this one here, so you'll have to wait till Friday to see it. But I got a good one in mind, so
perfect.
That'll be good. But in the senior level, it's obviously West Ferris who's perfect, unless they lose to Schollard last night. We'll see, but depending on how that works, right now Ferris is on top. But what's interesting is going into the Thursday night game, Chippewa and Algonquin are right beside each other. Chippewa's 4-1, Algonquin's 4-0. So that I think will be a big for the fight for number 2. Is going to be very important. And then after that, it's Schollard only picks up the 1 win, and Franco and Mattawa still are winless. So it does look like Chippewa and Algonquin are going to be fighting for number 2 in basketball with West Ferris right now, because we're only halfway through the season, sitting on top.
That is what I think it should be. I think that, again, we talked a lot about it in the girls' season, but that 2-3 semifinal between Algonquin and Chippewa, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah. Now, who do you think has the edge? Because both are good. There's a lot of really good Algonquin players, a lot of them coming from the football side. Chippewa looks really good because they get all the volleyball players.
Well, that's exactly it. Chippewa has some height with some volleyball players, and have some experience with being in the finals recently, but so has Algonquin. Algonquin has really talented guards. 2 of their volleyball players, Sam Jones and Owen Hamilton, are very talented players, and they have been. You could see them come up from junior, and it's going to be an issue. So I think they're all in grade 12 now, and I couldn't make an assumption. I couldn't guess.
So if you see on the schedule, or I guess when we tell you when the games come up, unless you have access to the schedule, the games you kind of want to see are when West Ferris and Chippewa clash, and hopefully the games are actually at the time they specify. West Ferris Algonquin clash, and then Chippewa and Algonquin, which would have been last night. Schollard's still there. I think Schollard's still in a bit of they're building up still. I think a little bit. they're just trying to get across the line. Like, again, when we saw them last week and we saw like number 5 went down and he when they played Algonquin and he had like back-to-back threes, he looked really strong. That team looked really good, and they had an almost comeback. I think they're, just like football, I think they're maybe a year away from being serious contenders.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a couple of things. Could be you only have so many players that can carry the load, and once you start getting deeper in your bench, you fall short a bit. But I agree that they're very close, and they have a good program, and they should keep pushing to get across that line.
And they'll be able to take advantage of the natural turnover of high school sports. Because I think with Ferris, I could be wrong about this, but I think they're going to have a lot of turnover. I don't think Nick's going to be there next year. I think this might be his last year.
I believe Wes, Nick, and Jesse are all in their grade 13 season.
I think. If not, they have one more year left. But
yeah,
I think this is it.
I'm pretty sure.
So that's huge turnover. And then it's, again, who can come up from the junior side. So it'll be an interesting basketball season. But there is one more piece of basketball news, something we love to do. It is the All-Stars. Now, for the girls, I should say, unfortunately, the graphic that was supplied doesn't have last names. So we had to do a little bit of sleuthing. There are a few last names we do not know. So that's unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But we will try to do our best to fill in the blanks where we can. And if not, I tried to go through socials and find some of these names. So we will do our best for you. So on the junior side, the league MVP was from Algonquin. It was Iman and Gota. And then from West Ferris, we had Annie Buell, Rowan Dickey, and Emily Somerton. From Algonquin, Jaden Gribben, Molly Wayner, and Fabian Beaudry. From Schollard, we don't have last names, but we do have Beatrice, Ali, and Aaliyah. From Chippewa, we have Kiera Renault, Mirica Emmett St. Onge, and from Franco, Gracie Barbeau.
On the senior side of things, our league MVP is Peyton Siebert from Schollard, who we had on the show. Other All-Stars from Schollard are Emma Cullen, Jillian, and Cadence. All-Stars from Chippewa include Gemma Long, Alina Kleinbeck, and Riley Brown. From Algonquin, we have Emerson, Ev Beaudry, and Caitlin. From Mattawa, Autumn Webster. From Franco Cité, Mika Garo. And from Northern, Kaylee.
So there's one name missing on there, Jackson, that you were a little surprised. Your sister got snubbed.
I would say I was surprised. A little different format this year from last year's All-Stars, but last year in her grade 11 season, she was one of the league's MVPs, which is a great honor. And this year she was not on the list, which is okay. I'm not going to be that parent. I'm not going to be that brother.
You're a parent? Yeah. You're not going to be that person.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that person, and that's okay.
It is what it is. You don't make the decisions, so you just got to live with it.
To be fair, I didn't go to that many games, but
wow.
I supported her when I could.
So right here on the Sportscast, Jackson admits he never went to any games.
That I didn't go to many.
He didn't go to many.
Yeah.
I think I probably went to more than...
Oh, that might be true.
Than you did.
Maybe.
I went to only like two of the Chippewa games.
It's closer than it should be.
That is actually a very fair point. But yes, so maybe next year you should be a better brother.
I should be. Well, yeah. She plays lots of sports.
Well, yeah. And we do talk a little bit about badminton too in next week's episode with your dad, where we find out who's the better badminton player. And I'll let you know it's not the guy sitting across from me. Well, it depends who you ask.
Yeah, depends who you ask.
If we ask you, you'll say yourself. But,
well, am I in my prime or am I now?
You're still kind of in your prime.
Yeah, okay.
But you'll have to see what his dad says, which is I think it's an important question. A little bit of a surprising answer, I think, for most people.
Yeah.
But a lot of there's a lot of minutia to go through, you know? You have to kind of get into the weeds a little bit to figure out the answer, but to each their own. There is one more piece of, NDA news before we start to wrap things up for this year, and that is congratulations to Trojan Wes Deckery and his team for securing a spot at the Ontario Winter Games. So Team Winters has claimed the championship title at the Ontario Winter Games qualifier held at the Horn Granite Club in New Liskeard, winning the finals to secure their qualification for the Ontario Winter Games, Ontario's largest multi-sport event, which will take place in Orillia in February 2026. The team roster saw skip Riley Winters, vice Wesley Deckery, second Grayson Gribben, lead Aiden Baxter, and the coach was Steve Deckery. And you were saying, because this came from the West Ferris social media, Jackson, you were saying most of that team is Chippewa players.
Yeah, the other 3 boys are Chippewa players, but they're a fantastic team as a whole. They've traveled all over the place, way out on the East Coast.
Did they win last year? Because I feel like that sounds familiar. Because I know there were some people that went deep last year.
Lots of success. I don't remember their exact results, but lots of success. And then admittedly, I know nothing about curling. Or, you said, skip second lead. And
that's where you shoot the rock. So
news to me.
It's just who throws what rocks.
Okay, well,
I only know my mom's obsessed with curling. I know a little bit. It's not my sport. I appreciate it. I've curled once. It wasn't my thing. But basically you have the skips like the captain, essentially, that goes usually last, and they do all the
last.
No, they do all they tell you where to throw the rocks and stuff. So they do all the strategy and stuff. I don't know all the nuance of it. I think other people are like sweepers and stuff, and but it's usually where they talk about it is usually where they throw like the rocks, because they usually throw, I think it's like 2 apiece or something.
That sounds about right. Per frame or per inning?
No, it's are they ends? I think they're called ends.
Oh yeah, they are ends.
Yeah.
I like inning better.
That's a baseball term.
Yeah.
Anyway, so curling will be off the docket for you, I guess. That'll be a thing.
when that comes around, that's
it's already here.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. Yeah.
So yeah, curling won't be on your forte. Badminton's almost coming up. I know you're ready.
Oh, I'm fired up.
You're fired. You're the only person I know who says I get fired up for badminton. Not that it's a bad sport. It's just I didn't realize how. I always saw it as more of a secondary sport to something like tennis.
Yeah, gentleman's sport. It's not very fiery, but you just
just the fact you say it's a gentleman's sport is funny to me.
I think
I would say tennis is a gentleman's sport.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more fire in tennis, I think.
Okay, that's
like
fair.
if you start being vocal in badminton, you get some heads turning.
I love how fired up you are about badminton. Kind of ironically talking about a gentleman's game. You get very, very intense about badminton.
Passion is nothing to be afraid of. It's
true.
It's great.
Speaking of passion, somebody who's passionate about sports and about teaching is your father, who we will have on next week's episode for our Boxing Day episode, because the next 2 weeks we don't have any sport content because they're all on breaks. The Lakers, the NDA, so they'll be back in action starting in that opening week of January. We'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm going to enjoy not having to go to schools after and not having to go to rinks at 8:00 at night. So it'll be a nice little break. So in order to have content, we have a couple of interviews, and one of them being your father. We also have a former Laker lacrosse player / women's Laker coach who came on. He lives in Durham now, and he's on the January 2nd episode. So right after the new year, the first episode of 2026. So keep your eye out for that one. But we did want to give you a little bit of a teaser for the episode that we did with your dad, because it was I think it was a good one. It was an interesting chat about his life as a teacher and his life in sports, and you get fired up a little bit about badminton.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What was your favorite point of that conversation?
Oh, I really like his wisdom. Sometimes he starts to talk a little slower, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. When he has like a good story, or when he shares his actual point of view, not just the neutral one. It's great.
And we never even talked about Raider Man.
No, that's okay.
He has I guess if you find him on Facebook, there's a picture there, but essentially he was a mascot during East West.
Yep.
When everybody else was cheerleaders, and apparently got a lot of flack for it.
Yeah, a lot of media, good and bad, and
which is weird. Like, it's just a weird thing to have. Well, I guess it's different. Pride, especially in high school, is way different. Back in, this would have been the 80s, mid 80s,
mid to late 80s.
It's way different than it is now because we're so full of social media, and it's a completely different world.
Yeah, and I told you after, and I honestly, when people in the past have found out who I was and who my dad was, they have referenced Raider Man time and time again.
And you've been Raider Man.
I was briefly a brief stint of Raider Man.
You put on the what is it? The leotard? Is that? It's kind of like a leotard.
It was. I'm gonna be honest. It was musty. It was
musty. Was it your dad's costume?
Yeah, it was It was the OG, and like it was nice for that day or that.
How many Mark versions of?
I think there's just one. I think there's just the.
There's probably just like a one and done.
Well, I believe so. We should hang it up and not keep it in a box.
Probably.
Yeah.
So let's throw to a quick little snippet of. The conversation that we had with Bob Boal, which will also be a surprise for Jackson. It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way. What's it like for you having both your kids being very heavily involved in sports? Obviously, Jackson was a badminton star, was kind of a bright candle. He burnt very quickly, and then now he's not doing anything. Volleyball guy, but didn't make an all-star team, I think. That was part of it. But then your daughter, of course, in basketball. I don't know, is she playing, what's her other sport?
Oh, she's I'd say her other sport would be like the fast pitch, like the softball. She is on the Chippewa soccer team. She played Chippewa tennis for a few years, but it's mostly basketball. And
so there
softball.
You go. She's also a director as well of plays.
Yeah, these days,
all that stuff. So what's it like when you see your kids have this success at the school you went to? What's that like as a parent and and you're also a teacher there, so you're much more involved in that kind of side of things than I think a lot of parents would be.
I'm blessed. I'm just very lucky and very fortunate. I think you're right when you talk about, teacher and parent and kid. I think sometimes teenagers and parents have a hard time connecting as their lives are in different spots. And having a car ride with your kid every day and having your kid in the hall and getting to hang around them so much. Getting parent-teacher interviews just about any day you want one.
That's got to be so awkward for you.
Yeah. No hiding boyfriends and girlfriends from your parents because they're in the hallways too. It has made for a wonderful backside of end of my career, without a doubt. But as we talk about Annie and her sports, Jackson, you coached Annie to OFSA last year in badminton, and you didn't mention that as one of her sports.
What? There you go.
Yeah, I guess she does play badminton too.
She went to OFSA. Is she a better badminton player than? Because remember, Jackson, you lost twice.
Well, I'll give her that. I played club and she didn't.
Oh, here we go.
And she's busy with other sports. I'm gonna say no. She's not. She doesn't quite.
If you guys went 1v1,
oh my goodness,
in your prime. Like if you were in your I'm talking. Did you have the sweatband? You probably had one of those. It
was bandana actually. It went tails out the
in
back
your
too.
grade 13 prime when you were helping grade 7 and 8s get your game up.
Yeah,
and she played you. Who do you think would win? Actually, I won't even ask you because you're going to say yourself. Who would win?
It's this issue is probably like a whole episode or two of its own. In all honesty, like Annie and her partner Lily did not lose a game of doubles through grade 7, through grade 8, through grade 9, and through grade 10. And only lost to the same team in the NASA final twice. This sort of the same thing that Jack was talking about. Both times Annie and Lily won Friday night, and then we're sitting beat them Friday night, and then one Saturday morning, and we're sitting in the finals waiting, and that team came in and beat Annie and Lily best 2 out of 3s in a row. 2 years in a row, in great matches. But Annie and Lily were unique in that they didn't have any club experience. And that's the last year's team that went to OFSA from NDA. Every one of them had club experience. Annie and Lily they might have been in a summer camp when they were 10 or 11 or 12, but they were never part of club teams. And that's an anomaly. Those kids who get the kids who are in club, they get as many hours of practice in September as the Chippewa team does their whole season. And then those club kids get October, November, December with Kurt, who's a high-powered, very knowledgeable coach. And then they get their high school gym time to play in as well. Like it really makes a difference. And so Annie and her partner do really well, especially when neither one of them have club experience.
So what I'm hearing here.
What's the question? Yeah,
this is what I'm hearing.
Like Jack could beat Annie, because their style of play. Jack, when he came back from COVID, had grown and had a better smash that he was more comfortable with, and a little bit more snap, and taller, so he could cover more court. And he gave up singles, and he won the first singles tournament that he was in, and he was a singles player to sort of start as much as he was a doubles player, and he started totally focusing on doubles. And he would easily beat Annie, but also because of the technical part, there's some things that I can't teach about footwork and some racket stuff that Kurt teaches and that Jackson benefits from, and so he would beat her if she'd even play.
Okay, so that doesn't really fit my narrative, but if it did, what I'm hearing is a lot of potential. Right, but not the opportunity to put it in, versus not as much potential, but lots of opportunity. A little bit of a growth spurt in COVID.
Yeah, that's what I chalk it down to.
So we'll call it a draw.
Yeah, we'll give biology the credit for all the success.
They didn't play in an NDA tournament together, which would have been Dad's dream. But they did. Yeah, they did do some practices together, and that's. It's a lot of fun. It's again, you get to be around your kid as they get older, and as they, in a lot of ways, their lives start sort of moving away, and so it's great. And I, fortunate enough to be Annie's slow pitch coach at Chippewa too, and Jack helps with that, and so you get to be around your kids more. Yep. You can't beat it.
And that is officially Sportscast number 66. Jackson, we made it through the first half of the NDA season. A lot of good stuff that happened. What were some of your favorite moments?
I liked that the football season was not runaway.
It also took forever because it did. There was all-stars and all-stars and all-stars, but yeah.
I love a good final between, in the girls' basketball season, I think West Ferris and Algonquin was very close. And then personal bias, I'm really glad Craig continues to have success in boys volleyball. That's all I love when that happens for him.
They'll be disappointed about NASA for sure, because they go in expecting to win that and they didn't, because they're looking at OFSA championships. That's what they want to play for. So it's unfortunate for some of the players who are no longer going to be on the team next year because of aging out. The football was fun. Football was really good. There were some good moments, like the Schollard West Ferris game where West Ferris won by 1 point. Was pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of cool interviews that we did that I think were kind of neat. Like the Nick Corbeil one was cool at the top, and then getting to see them, getting to talk to Matthew Debian after he won the MVP and stuff. There was some pretty neat moments, I think, in sports. And then coming up, of course, in February, I think it's February-ish, you have the playoffs for girls volleyball, boys basketball, and I'm really excited for boys basketball and for girls volleyball. Seeing how that kind of those middle teams do. It looks like Schollard's going to have a hold on it a little bit, but there's a lot of good stuff coming up in the new year. Sports Hall of Fame comes up in May, so we want to do some fun stuff with some of the inductees and do some coverage there. Then we get back into the Threes League in the summer. 2026 is going to be a good year.
Absolutely. It's sort of my first go at this, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm just going to keep riding it how it's going.
When you didn't even mention badminton.
Not yet.
When does that start? January?
Yeah, our first practice is the Tuesday we go back.
All right. So we will see you back, I guess, on January 9th for the next, for sports, what is it? Sportscast number 69. As we get to the next full sportscast that we usually do. For the next two, we're going to have your father, and we're going to have a special guest from the Lakers or former Laker on. So it's going to be exciting. We hope you have a great Christmas a holiday season, however you celebrate or whatever you end up doing, that you have a great break, whether it's from school or from work or wherever, and that it's safe. And we look forward to seeing you again next week for some pre-recorded interviews, but back for an official Sportscast in a couple of weeks. I'm Ben Sargent.
I'm Jackson Boal.
Thank you so much. And again, if you have anything that you want us to cover, please shoot me a message. You can either get us on North Bay Echo, which is our at on socials, or you can send an email to me at ben@northbayecho.ca. And we will see you again next week.